one of the things that we've been looking at our calling in the last few weeks was where are we supposed to be and what are we supposed to be doing and all of these questions. And what are we supposed to be doing and where have we been and where are we going and all of this stuff. And one of the themes that comes out in the biblical text that I love more than any other is this theme of this theme of a sojourner. And the sojourner in the biblical text is someone that's outside of their land. The truth is, everyone is a sojourner. Everywhere we go in the text, they are constantly in someone else's land, in a foreign place. They've either been stripped of their land, or they've been stripped from their community and inserted somewhere else, or they've been taken captive and put into slavery in Exodus, or they have been called by God to just journey. And this is where the term comes from, to be a sojourner, to just go on journey, and you're outside of your land, and your family is not with you, your people are not with you, and so you are constantly seeing in the text people outside of their land. One of the concepts that I love about that is how we're supposed to treat those people. We've been, I grew up in Texas, and I can't help but bring some of that history to this conversation because there is a huge conversation always in Texas, in the South, about foreigners in our land and what we're going to do about it. And it's a terrible way to talk about people, and the worst part is, lots of them are Christian, and they're reading the text about people in a foreign land, and they're ignoring it. And worse than that is that they're forgetting that at one point, God says to us, you were once foreigners in another people's land, and relied on help from them. And we forget all of this and treat people like crap, and it's a terrible thing. And there's no way around it. But the concept is amazing because everywhere we go, one, the people are sojourners, or two, the Bible is talking about how you treat people that come into your household or onto your land. And that's a little bit of what I want to look at this morning in light of this Safe Harbor program. So the Safe Harbor concept, and I'll just read it because this is a no-brainer. It's like, what else is the church supposed to be doing? The aim of the Safe Harbor program is to help create safer and more welcoming communities. Sounds pretty good so far. That support all forms of diversity. Participating businesses and organizations advertise themselves as a temporary refuge, a place to make a phone call, have a glass of water for individuals who are lost, in trouble, or facing discrimination. I'd say it used to be that you would naturally walk into a church for that kind of thing, right? I would say today, you might be leaving the church for that sort of thing, which is an unfortunate event. But the program, I mean, it's not. But if you read through it, the program appears to be built on biblical principles that say, treat people right. It doesn't matter who they are or where they've come from, treat people right. And we have a tendency in our mental states and in our own worlds to forget where we've been, where we've come from, and what God has called us to. And this concept of the stranger, of the sojourner, is always present in the biblical text. So let's look first at Genesis, chapter 23. Now Abraham has been called by God. So it says, "Go on your journey." And so Abraham takes off with his family on journey for God, and they go into places that they're not familiar with, and they go to lands that are not theirs. And Abraham got up from mourning his dead wife and spoke to the Hittites. "I know I'm only an outsider here among you, but sell me a burial plot so that I can bury my dead decently." The Hittites responded, While you're no mere outsider here with us, you're a prince of God. Bury your dead wife in the best of our burial sites. None of us will refuse you a place for burial. And so here Abraham is feeling like an outsider, expecting to be treated like an outsider, and they welcome him with open arms. And they say, bury her in the best place. And when the time comes for us to treat people the same way, we often say, find your own place. We often push them out. We judge. We push people away. We create barriers. We do all kinds of things. And the text constantly is saying, welcome them. And here's an example. And what I love about God's work is that it's always the unfamiliar. It's always the unexpected. And here, when Abraham is expected to be treated like an outsider, it's the outsider that shows us what God's love really, really looks like. It's the outsider that says, this is who God is, and this is how we're going to treat him. So when we get to Leviticus, I didn't tell you we were going to Leviticus today. Leviticus is full of laws. It's a lot. It's a great read. You should just sit down and read through it and just spend hours because it's so much fun. It's very boring. I should add that, but it's filled with some amazing concepts that are so far ahead of their time because Abraham asked that question in the way that he did because that's how you treated people during this time. We're in a different world now, and you would be considered rude if you treated somebody as an outsider, but we do it anyway. We just do it rudely, and people go, wow, that's a rude person. Abraham is expecting to be treated that way because that's how you're treated in that world. Now, you survive off of your community, off of your family. It is required, to have growth in your family because that's how you survive. If you don't have children, you don't have people to help you grow your vineyard or your business or whatever it is you do. If you don't have children, you can't gain the workers that you need to handle your flocks and to take care of things so that you can survive. It's about survival. All this time we see laws about offspring and having children and populate the land. All of this is about survival because you have to have your community with you to survive. So when you go to a foreign land and you don't have your community, you don't have your family, the expectation is that you're treated as an outsider. And you are given, and in that treatment, you don't survive. It's about survival. The Jubilee year is a concept that comes up in treatment of people that shows us exactly how we are supposed to treat the outsiders. It is a fantastic concept and falls right into place with how we treat people. You see, lots of people get down on their luck. They get into situations and they sell things. They sell land. They sell themselves. They sell all kinds of things. They take on debt, whatever it may be. And the Jubilee year is about the treatment of people in their hard times. In this year of Jubilee, everyone returns home to his family property. If you sell or buy property from one of your countrymen, don't cheat him. Sorry, I'm off here. Count off the 7 Sabbaths of 7 years. 7 times 7 years. 7 Sabbaths of years add up to 49 years. Then sound loud blasts on the ram's horn on the 10th day of the 7th month, the Day of Atonement. Proclaim freedom all over the land to everyone who lives in it. A jubilee for you. Each person will go back to his family's property and reunite with his extended family. The 50th year is your Jubilee year. Even people that have come from a foreign land that have been sold themselves or their family into these wretched situations. We don't want to get started on why that's okay, but get sold into these wretched situations. Whatever the situation is, it's time to send them home. It's time to look at them as people and individuals and forget the part where they didn't for those 7 years or 49 years. But everyone returns home to their family. One of the things, the laws just continually press this concept of taking care of people. One of the laws is you don't glean crops from the corners of your crop field. So you go through, you plant your crops, you do your work, but in the corners you leave space so that people that don't have food can come and pick food off of your land that is intentionally designed and set up to help support the community and help support people that are in need. Everywhere you look, God is taking care of people. He's put it in His laws, which are supposed to be this rigid form of what you're supposed to do or not do to be right with God, but often those laws are about taking care of people. It's about God's love showing through our actions and taking care of people. Everywhere you look, God is doing that. And our mission as God's people is to do that. Is to do exactly that, to care for people in our community. So this Safe Harbor program isn't just something interesting. It's not just something that's cool, that's in our community that we can be a part of. It is truly the mission that God has set out for His people, to take care of those that need help, that need care. And whatever condition they may come in whatever place they may be in, we're called to care for them. I'd like as many of you as possible to be here to take part in that, because we don't know who's going to be here when someone shows up with a need in our community. And I'd like you to know the program and why we're doing it and what it's about. We looked at Moses' story for a few weeks in January as being called by God. And one of my favorite lines out of that story is God speaking to Moses, saying, "I have heard the cry of my people." Everywhere people are crying out to God, everywhere people are crying out in suffering and in pain, God hears it. God is listening. Our call, our mission is to be the voice of God in our community. To be answering that cry for help, that cry for suffering, to be reaching out to those people in their darkest, most needed moments, when they need someone there. I have heard I'm the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac. I've taken a good long look at the affliction of my people in Egypt. I've heard their cries for deliverance from their slave masters. I know all about their pain, and now I have come down to help them. Flash forward to Jesus teaching us how to pray. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This has become sort of my, my mantra, sort of, as we work into what we're supposed to be doing in our community. And I read this scripture in a whole new way that I never saw it when I was growing up. I never saw it when I was studying, but it hit me while we were doing our work here, or what we're supposed to be doing. This is about bringing God's kingdom to here, to now, to our own community, so that when we leave our community for the day, for the week, for good, we move, whatever, when we leave our community, we are missed because we brought the kingdom of God to our community. Because when we were here, this world looked a little bit more like God's world. That's our call. And that means reaching out to people in their time of need. That's what the Safe Harbor program is about. And that's what we are about. So again, that seems like a natural thing. I want us to think this week about what that means. I can only look at my own life and say, I see how this looks in my own life. When I can be of help, when I can be of service, when I can really reach into my community and take part in bringing God's kingdom here. But each of us are on mission together to do that. And so each of us have to look at ourselves and at our own life to do the same. I can't do it for you. I'd like to. I've got a lot of ways to help you out there, but I can't do it for you. We have to do that on our own and find those places when we can be God's voice in our community. The prophet's role is to be God's voice in their community. And each of us, on mission together, find our own ways to be God's voice.